they always say you can't stop true love, but what they don't tell you is true love is very boring. Hey everyone, welcome back to another booktastic episode of Empire Radio. I'm Jeremiah.
I'm Grace.
Come on, Grace, you've been doing this for how long? You're distracted by the chat?
I just discovered the chat recently, and now, okay, I'm locked in. Hello.
Okay, we're locked in, and we're back. And today is a special episode. It is our Valentine's Day special.
No
And this
way.
is when Drew would say burr, 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 or bump, bump, burr. But for some reason, he got called into work today, but not just come into work. It's he had to go to Seattle to work because apparently because of the Seattle Seahawks celebration parade from winning the Super Bowl, for some reason Drew has to work in Seattle for Delta. I don't know. It kind of is like there could be a better excuse, but I don't know.
I mean, it is a Delta hub, so it makes sense to me. Like, I think.
But like, what does it matter? Does it just?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, that's crazy. I feel really bad for him. That's an awful flight. I've done that one a lot.
But whatever. But so Drew, unfortunately, will not be joining us, and he said he was going to send in a voicemail, and he never did, which is kind of funny. But it is what it is. It's our Valentine's Day special. And the book that we are doing is The Princess and the Scoundrel by Beth Revis. And so this is our third Valentine's special in a row where we've done a book review that has a major romance aspect. So if you haven't seen the other two, go check out Dark Disciple from 2 years ago and then Lost Stars last year. And I'm sad that Drew isn't here because there was a Lost Stars character reference in this book. And I wanted to hear Drew's thoughts, but he's not here. So sad. But we do have a little small news thing. And I don't know if Grace saw this or not. But Lydia Kang, who wrote one of the High Republic books, Cataclysm, which is one of my favorite Star Wars books of all time.
Me too.
She just announced over the weekend that her and Alyssa Wong are coming out with a new High Republic book this summer called Survivors of the Stormwall. And it's basically a bunch of short stories of characters that were trapped behind the Stormwall. And so, I don't know. I'm excited for it because there's a lot of people that were trapped back there and much short stories. I think they said something like 11 short stories in like the one book. And so I'm going to do that. I think it'd be fun. We could do like a few weeks breaking down different stories. So Grace, you're invited.
Okay. I'm interested. I'm like so shattered though that she's not giving us more phase 2 content. That's what I thought it was going to be when you were announcing this. But
it's technically phase 3, but
yeah,
I don't know. Lydia Kang is awesome. If you don't follow her on Instagram, you got to because she's super awesome on what she posts on Instagram. So go follow her.
Yeah,
and she's like the only like Star Wars celebrity that follows us, Empire Radio, on Instagram. So
that's pretty cool.
So that means we can slide in her DMs and she'll respond if we message her. Like that's pretty cool.
We can bother her to give us more Axel and Gela content. I do think about them every day.
Every day, wow.
It just comes up. I don't know.
A bit much.
They bring me so much joy.
Yep. But yes, The Princess and the Scoundrel. So this book is just basically what happens after the Battle of Endor between Princess Leia and Han Solo and their marriage and what happens not too long after that. And so it's very, like, you know what you're going to get. It's the story of Han and Leia. And so we might as well just jump into overall thoughts. Grace.
Yeah.
what are your overall thoughts of The Princess and the Scoundrel?
So this is my second time reading this book. And I had remembered none of it, which tells you all you need to know about the stickiness of this piece of literature. It's fine. I think it has some interesting character development for both Leia and Han. I do not think it's the most interesting of like the Leia character studies that they've done in Star Wars books. It's like probably the least interesting to me. Um, and the romance was like a sticking point both this read and the last read because we know how it ends, and I like they're trying to kind of like signal that to you throughout the book. Like Leia says a couple times, like, "Oh, I don't know how this will end." I'm like, who says that when they get married? Like when you get married, you like think it's gonna last. Like, stop
Right.
pretending like you know you're gonna get divorced. That's really weird. So that was annoying. And then like you alluded to in your opening, I mean, nothing really happens in the book, so I don't love that, but I think it was okay. Yeah, I will try to say nice things as we do this review tonight. What were your thoughts, Jeremiah?
So literally the first 2/3 of this book, nothing happens. It's just like slow moving, like build up. And then sure, the last third of the book I thought was really good. I thought it was really entertaining. I liked Han and Leia working together and things like that. Like the last third was actually really enjoyable for me. But the first 2/3, it's like they set up like all these different paths of like what could happen, and it doesn't go in that direction. And like it's just like, when is something going to happen? When is there going to be the climax? When is crap going to hit the fan? And it just took forever and ever. And there's so many chapters that are like, what's the point of this chapter? Like it doesn't add anything to the story. It's just Han Solo getting these pies
Pastries,
from
yeah.
pastries from the cafeteria thing on this starship. Like, cool. He likes these sweet brown pie things. Like, okay, but like,
Yeah.
who cares? And
Yeah, I
so,
agree.
like, this story could have been gotten to the point a lot faster, or went down a different direction. Like one of the things like they brought up in the beginning of the book was like, Leia, there's a bounty on you. Like all these bounty hunters are gonna be coming after you, and we never see that. Like I thought that's literally what was gonna happen. Was Han and Leia were gonna be running from bounty hunters or something like that, or trying to fight bounty hunters, because that's how like the first like conflict thing that was kind of like threatening, I guess. And that wasn't the story at all.
Yeah,
So it's just like,
no.
why are we going in this direction? But whatever. So, like I said, first 2/3 of the book, super boring, some interesting stuff, but it wasn't enjoyable until the last third of the book, when like an actual plot was being told, I guess.
Developed.
Yeah. So, do you agree? Like,
Yeah,
much?
I think that's right. I think that's right. Because I also think that like I was saying, the romance is not very developed either. It's like supposed to be this great love story, but like they just are not doing enough to sell it for me.
So, something that like I realized reading this book, and then they actually address it later on in the book, which I appreciate, was if you really think about it, like, so Han and Leia were not an official couple in Empire Strikes Back.
Yeah.
Like, and so they have their first kiss, which was, in my opinion, a not consensual kiss. But
Yeah.
like, that was their first kiss. And then literally within a day or two, Han gets frozen carbonite.
Yeah.
Then he's in
Yeah.
carbonite for a year. He gets rescued. And then a few days later, they're on the Battle
They
of
get married.
Endor. And then they get married 2 days after the Battle of Endor. Or a few days
Yeah.
after Endor. So it's like,
Yeah.
literally for Han, he went from kissing Leia for the first time, and then like within like less than 2 weeks of him like being conscious and alive,
Yeah.
they fall in love and get married.
Yeah.
Like I never really thought of it that way. That like there's only like a few days of passing time for Han.
It's very like Anakin and Padme coded, right? Like, why is everyone in the Star Wars universe having romances like this? This is not how normal people enter a marriage.
At least for Anakin, he was like obsessing over her for 10 years.
Yeah.
And was falling. At least that's believable.
And like I know that Han and Leia have kind of known each other. Like they've known each other for 3 years, so that's like but I don't know. I like a couple dates, not in the midst of war, would have been a great place to start.
Right. And I guess that also they did establish the timeline, and I thought it was 2 years between 4 and 5, and then 2 years between 5 and 6. But here they're saying 3 years between 4 and 5, and 1 year between 5 and 6. So that adjusts my Star Wars math for future mathing, which is cool, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, we might as well just jump into kind of like going through the story. So it just picks up 2 days after the Battle of Endor, and Han is basically, I want to propose to Leia. And so he does. And what we learn early on is that Leia doesn't want to be trained in the ways of the Force or to become a Jedi or anything like that, which was, I guess, confusing for me because we find out that she does become trained and becomes a Jedi Knight, like, and then she just retires. And so I was like, how does, like, is this contradicting? Like, is this? But then what I appreciate is we see her grow into desire to want to know how to use the Force when and she needs to use it. Like, she doesn't want to become a Jedi, but like she has this desire to, like, I need Luke to, like, teach me, because if I can help people by using the Force, I want to do it, because she needed it in these instances, and she wasn't able to, except for at one point. Seems like she does. So I really like that. Did you like that? How she kind of like struggling with the Force aspect?
I liked that too. I think that's probably one of the most interesting parts of the book, like that related to her relationship with Vader and thinking about her lineage. I think they could have done more of that, because and they do in some of the other Leia book. I forget what it's called, like Bloodlines or something.
Oh yeah, Bloodlines. Yeah, and there was this. There's a moment where like she wanted to use the Force, and she's like, I want to use the Force to save the ones I love.
Yeah.
I'm like, hold on, and she's like, and because like at one point in the book early on, like around, I think it was just before the wedding, like she goes for a walk into the woods and she finds Vader's funeral pyre, and she's like, this is not my father. Like, I don't care what anyone says. This is like, I don't care if he's biological my father, but he's not my father, and hates him and all this stuff. But then she's like becoming like him to, like, I want to use the Force to save people I love, which was Anakin's fall to the dark side. So it was just kind of interesting that, so I really like that, like her struggle, not realizing she's more like her father than she realizes.
Yeah.
Pretty cool.
I agree. And I think it's funny that she picked up the helmet. Then that was just making me think of Kylo Ren and how messed up this whole family is, but also how they're really connected by that mask.
Yeah. And it's like, I wonder if, because I don't know if like the story is told in the comics, the Kylo Ren comics, but like how he found Vader's helmet. Like, I wonder if, did he find out because Leia told him? Like, how did he know to go to Endor to find it? Like, was he told that whole story? And he's like, oh, I might as well just go check it out and walk around and see if I can sense something. But I don't know. I just was thinking, like, was his skull in there? And his skull wasn't in there. So now I'm kind of confused on like how the whole thing played out. Like,
we're not going to ask too many questions.
I
think it was probably the Force. You remember how like Obi-Wan's body disappeared? Like, you know.
Oh, we'll go with that. Yep.
Yeah. Yep. When in doubt, it's the Force.
Yep.
Yeah.
Did you listen to the audiobook with this time around?
I did both. I had, like, depending on where I was either audiobooking or reading.
Okay. So what they did that was very interesting with this one is, which I thought was kind of executed a little poorly, but like, so every other chapter is kind of from Leia's perspective and then switches to Han's perspective. Like, a lot of times it didn't really matter. I was kind of weird, like to switch, like it didn't have anything to do with it. But like, when it was Leia's chapter, it was narrated by a female narrator, and then when it was Han's chapter, it was narrated by Mark Thompson, a male.
Yeah.
And so it was going in. I thought all of Leia's dialogue was going to be with the female narrator, and all of Han's lines were going to be a male, but it wasn't like that until the last chapter. Did you listen to the last chapter of
Yeah,
the
of
audiobook?
course. Yeah, I did.
Then
Yeah.
when Han and Leia are talking back and forth, it's the two different voice actors. And I was really
Yeah.
confused on like why they made that choice like the last chapter. And it was actually enjoyable that last chapter when they're just talking, and then
Hmm.
Leia like laughing at Han was just so funny. Like the voice actor was so good at like laughing and just like mocking Han. I don't know. It was
Yeah.
and then I don't know. I thought it was really good. But
Huh. I
I
didn't
do
think
appreciate
about
like
that.
the different voices, like just hearing. I don't know. I appreciate that. Like if you've ever listened to like Dooku Jedi Lost, like that's a whole cast of voice actors doing all the
Yeah.
different
Yeah.
things. So that's super cool. Um,
Oh, there was. Oh no, this is. Never mind. Keep going. Okay.
okay. Uh, so a question I kind of had for you was, so the events of this book take place like less than 2 weeks after the Battle of Endor. It's like the wedding happens a few days later, then they go on their honeymoon slash Star Cruiser mission thing,
Mm.
and the way things are portrayed is that there's already peace all throughout the galaxy. Like the Empire is
Mm.
now, just because the Emperor was dead, that the Empire has like collapsed, and now it's just remnants. But like, I
Yeah.
don't feel like that's believable
Mm-mm.
because I don't know. It just seems like okay, it was already established that like a lot of the galaxy didn't believe the rebel leaders that he was dead. Like, how was your proof? He was on a Death Star and it blew up. Like, we don't have a body. Sorry. And in Star Wars, when you don't have a body, guess what? They live. And spoiler alert, he didn't really die.
He wasn't dead.
Somehow he returned 30 years later. Um, but like, and then like when we get in contact with the different imperial people, like that Beck lady, and then the certain like
Yeah.
they don't even believe. They think it's rebel propaganda, and so it's like everyone thinks that there's peace. The galaxy is like talking like there's peace, and I didn't really find that believable. You
Yeah.
agree?
Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, I feel like the book tries to make it believable. Like I remember at some point they're like, like everyone, all of Rebel or all of the Empire High Command was on the Death Star, so it was kind of like we took them out in one fell swoop. Um, but I mean, I think we know from like real life that like government people try to do this all the time. You like take out the leader, and then the country doesn't necessarily the regime doesn't necessarily just collapse. Like somebody else is
Right.
waiting in the wings, which didn't happen. We know because we know like how the story progresses. But yeah, it seems like that could have happened, and maybe that's like part of the reason Leia is so anxious throughout the book to be doing stuff to help rebuild and bring peace. And it seemed like Mon
Right.
Mothma was pretty like locked in on the political situation. But I agree with you. It's another one of
Because
those Star Wars things that's not super believable in real life.
like in because we know that the Battle of Jakku, which was a year after the Battle of Endor, was kind of like the final stand by the remnants of the Empire.
Hmm.
And also, like I mentioned, I think it was the last time you were on Star Wars Battlefront 2, the video game. Like the story in there takes place between that whole year, following some characters that were on the Empire, and like Palpatine did have a contingency plan that if he were to die, this is the plan. And
Yeah.
it's like a robot with like his face like projected on it, and it's just like him talking or whatever. It's kind of like an AI Palpatine, and he's like, "This is what I want you to do." And if you remember in Mando season 2, when he takes his helmet off for the first time and he's there
Yeah.
with Mayfeld, and they're talking about Operation Cinder.
Yeah.
So Operation Cinder is this contingency plan that Palpatine had after he died. Do this Operation Cinder. And
Mm.
so like a lot happened after Palpatine died, but in this book it seems like everything was good and nothing happened. So
Yeah. Maybe it's just that the book is so narrow. Like we are so focused on Han and Leia that we kind of lose sight of the larger
right,
machinations of what's going on in the galaxy. It's a good
right.
point.
Um, and so then one of the things that so Mon Mothma obviously is there and on Endor afterwards, and she kind of brings up like, all right, now that the Empire has fallen and Palpatine is gone, these are the areas because there's like a power void now, and so she's like, we gotta worry about crime syndicates, we gotta worry about supply chain stuff, we gotta worry about fuel and
Mm-hmm.
and all this stuff, and also she's like, Leia, you have bounties on your head, so it's like
Mm-hmm.
um, there could have been all these different directions they went with this. Like, okay, they're going to address crime syndicates. Like, they're going to get involved in that or supply chain.
Yeah.
Like there's
Why
so
does
many things.
Kira not make an appearance in this book? Like that
Well,
would
she
have
does
been
have.
really juicy.
Well, we did find out that her and Leia met.
Well, that's in the comics. I think we saw that, and
Did we see
I
that
at
in the
least saw
comic?
that. I saw it, but you might have.
Okay,
It's one of those where it could have been in one that was not.
yeah, we didn't cover it when you did the Kira comics, but like, um, I didn't know that they met, so I was like, I want to hear that story. Like,
Right?
um, so maybe a future comics with Grace is going over those Kira comics.
Yeah. But like again, that just seems like a miss on the part of the book. Like, why not have Kira show up on the planet? We know she survived. They haven't really done with her, anything with her, like post Battle of Endor. It just would have added like a nice dimension to the romance.
It would have been funny if, like, at the wedding, Luke is like, does anyone oppose this? If not, forever hold your peace. And Kira walks in.
Yeah.
Me, that's Han. You're my first love. Blah blah blah. My crime syndicate sucks right now, and I need you. That would be kind of funny.
That would be fun.
But Kira's not that needy.
No, I think she's over Han. I think they're over each other, but still.
Right. So yeah, we went over Leia finding Vader's funeral pyre. So then we get to the wedding, and it's basically, so we're skipping a bunch of stuff. There's like Han's bachelor party, and what everyone shows up and crashes it, whatever, blah blah blah. But the wedding is like an Ewok wedding, like it's their cultural ceremony inside like this thing with this magical tree, whatever.
Yeah.
And the cool thing that is this like the wedding ring thing that they do, which it's funny that our cultural like wedding ring thing is a cultural thing in Star Wars, which is kind of funny because it's like the Ewoks have the wedding ring thing, but Han was like already talking about ring stuff. Also, like I guess a wedding ring is just a universal symbol, I guess.
Yeah.
But because it was with the Ewoks, it was like sap from the tree or whatever. Where they would, I think, right? It was a sap made out of sap. It was sap. They would wrap it around the finger and it would harden.
Yeah.
And like, obviously, it's not meant to be like a ring that lasts forever because, spoiler alert, Leia's breaks and then Han's breaks and then it's whatever. But like, I don't know. I thought it was cool that like they just had like a ring made around their finger, and it's like it stuck with them for those few days or whatever.
You know that the lore though is that like Anakin and Padme didn't have rings; they exchanged droids instead. Like that's why Padme gave Anakin R2 and Anakin gave Padme 3PO, and that was like instead of their wedding rings.
Is that just like a fan theory, or is that like
no? That's real. I don't like. You could go on Wikipedia.
Really?
Yeah.
Chat, I need you to fact check. Fact check.
People because the whole point of the wedding ring is like part of the legal contract of marriage. In order to have a valid contract, you have to have offer and consideration. And in order for you to have consideration, you need to give the other person something of value. So instead of exchanging the rings, which is like how we traditionally do it, I mean,
you're talking like in our legal system?
I mean, like historically, not in our legal system. Now you just get married by going to a courthouse, but like that's where it's coming from. Yeah. That's why people did like dowries, all of that.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Yeah. Interesting.
Anyway,
But yeah.
yeah, please fact check that. I feel pretty confident, but we'll see. At the very least, it's a fun legal connection.
Yeah, like Ewok lawyers, like
Like, okay, what is the
they're
value of this sap ring?
yeah. And they had like the cool like these like it was like yellow tiny yellow butterfly things that like fell from the trees, and then like I don't know, this is kind of cool, whatever.
Yeah,
Um,
whatever.
Funny thing is, so like Han, he's Han. He like apparently we learn here he doesn't change his clothes. He just wears the same thing
Yeah.
every day. But like Lando like gives him a jacket, a nice dress jacket that was Alderidian or whatever.
Yeah.
And then late at towards the end of the book, Han's like, aren't you happy? Didn't you like that jacket? It's Alderidian, and Leia's like, no, it's
No, it
not.
wasn't.
And Han was so mad, like I'm gonna kill Lando for this, blah blah blah. Like that was kind of funny.
That was so funny. I was really feeling for Leia. I was like, can you imagine? She has all of these outfits, and then he's not even changing clothes to go to the fancy dinner. Like that might have been game over for me.
Yep. So then the main kind of like story moving forward after Wang is like the honeymoon, and everyone wants them to go on a honeymoon, especially Mon Mothma, but like they want to politicize the honeymoon to show that now that the Empire has fallen, life can you can live your life freely now, and we're going to show this by our great rebel leaders Han and Princess Leia are getting married, and they're going on their honeymoon, and they're going on this luxury star cruiser, and to show that everything's fine.
Mm-hmm.
And Han and Leia are not happy about it, like politicizing it, but then they also understand like they have to do it because it makes sense. But like Han's just like, I just want to be with Leia. Like I don't want to like waste my time like politicizing. But Leia's like, I have to. Like we can't not like because she's like, I want our marriage to be as secret as long as we possibly can. But like that can't happen, and so
Yeah. And so it was secret for like one singular second. I forgot about
right.
that. That's funny that they immediately made it not a secret.
And so that's that. So they go on to start a cruise. So it's like a Chandrillan. So it's like Mon Mothma, which is also kind of weird that like Mon Mothma is the leader of the Rebel Alliance, but she still has an in on a Star Cruiser ship that was controlled by the Empire.
Mm-hmm.
I thought she's like, oh yeah, here's my timeshare to basically to this Star Cruiser. You can go and go in my place type of thing. Like you can use my room type basically. And I was like, how do you still have like skin in the game like using the Star Cruiser thing? So that was kind of confusing to me, but
Interesting tidbit about the Star Cruiser I wanted to bring up. So there's also a whole comic book series about like the Halcyon. Am I saying it right? I literally listened to the audiobook and I can't remember. Okay.
Yeah,
Halcyon Star Cruiser. Where they do kind of like little one-off. It's like the main story is like set, I don't remember when, but like maybe like around the time that I don't know, like 10 years after this. But then it tells stories from like various moments in the Halcyon's history, like going back to the High Republic, during the Clone Wars. Maybe it's set farther in the future, and then they set one like, during the like Han and Leia era. I don't remember. But the interesting thing is I do remember that they had a Halcyon episode about Padme and Anakin going on the Halcyon. Like, I forget why exactly they had to be there, but like, maybe it was a mission, or maybe they were just trying. It's a comic, yeah. They were just trying to like have a vacation, and they went on the Halcyon together. And then, of course, they ended up having some sort of problem and needing to fight and be cool. But I would recommend that to everyone. It has, if you've read this book, it has some fun little parallels.
That's interesting. I guess before we jump into the Star Cruiser stuff, the Lost Stars crossover character. Um, there's two main characters in Lost Stars. One main character stays with the Empire. The other main character defects and becomes a rebel. And and the wedding celebration after the wedding, there's a reference to his character dancing with Leia. And what is interesting, I wanted Drew here because he's read it like a million times, so he could confirm. But when this individual was in the Navy Academy on Coruscant, they went to a Navy ball, all the cadets and all the students or whatever, and it was like all these rich people. And I think the same character danced with Senator Princess Leia, who was when they're like both 15 or something like that.
Oh, cute.
So I think it's awesome that like they danced together in an Imperial ball on Coruscant, and then whatever 10 years later they're dancing after beating the Empire. I don't know. I thought it was kind of cool. There's a little cross reference.
And
I
wonder
told
what
Drew,
sort of dance they're doing.
I don't know my Star Wars dance genres, but I was like, Drew, I know you like a lot of times just listen to the audiobook, you don't follow along all the time, but like you gotta make sure there's a character reference that you need to make sure you're paying attention to. And I can't tell you what. And he's like, who is it? I don't know who it would be. And then like a few days ago, he messaged me, I can't believe the ball. This is so cool. Blah, blah, blah. I'm like, okay. But yeah, that was a cool cross reference. So the big kind of like thing that Leia, like her kind of mission is to like secure fuel. Like that's one of the biggest concern is like now that the Empire's fallen, like they need fuel supplies. And there's a planet called Madurs that has what is the carnium, which is a form of fuel. And they kind of want to, the New Republic wants to kind of like get to these different locations that have fuel supplies and kind of secure them so that the Imperial remnants can't fuel their Star Destroyers and whatnot. So it's like Leia wants to like convince the captain of the ship to like take a detour to this planet Madurs, which is this like ice planet that has like these cool ice palaces, and we should consider doing this. And people, but no, we want to go to Sinjax, the main thing, which is like a tropical planet, and all this stuff. And I feel like I'm missing a lot going on in the chat that you were just like typing.
No, it's okay. Just keep going.
I see my name multiple times, and now I'm like, are you guys talking about me?
I'm so bored. Just keep. Let's get through this.
What did you say? You're so bored?
You're doing great. This is the worst part of the book.
Yeah. So whatever. So
yeah.
Han is Han. He finds out that there's like a sabacc. There's sabacc players playing in the boiler room of the ship. Whatever. And he goes and plays sabacc with them, and he's trying to like read these characters. And we get introduced to his character, Key Lad, who's like, he's on his way to Sinjax because he worked for the Empire and like it was like had to work with like gravity manipulation and stuff like this. And all I see is I'm bonding with Grace from Red Buff in the chat. And he's like, I'm going to Sinjax because I got to sell her. I got this technology that the Empire was going to pay me for, but now that they're gone, like I need to find another buyer. And so there's all this drama, blah, blah, blah. And then it's kind of like jokingly brought up, like, oh, Princess Leia, like, you know, she probably has a big bounty on her head. Like, I could kidnap her and take her and get like a lot more money than I would for this gravity manipulation technology or whatever I invented. And Han kind of pushes him on that, and Han was like, screw this guy. I'm just going to threaten him by throwing him in the escape pod. I'm going to launch him into space.
I had some questions about the legality of all of this. Number one, I felt like Han was like really encouraging him to commit this crime so that he could then imprison him. But number two, I was like, is no one going to ask for evidence that this man actually was planning to kidnap Princess Leia? Like if I were him, I would have been like, can I please speak to my lawyer? Can I please see your proof? Was anyone else there when he was saying these things? I think by the time he was like actually making the threats, it was just him and Han.
right. So no one else heard
Yeah.
it. But then like when he's trapped in the airlock and like an engineer walks by, hey, what are
Yeah,
you guys
yeah.
doing? You're not supposed to be here. And then they kind of like whatever. And this Keelah guy, he's like a really like he's like a weasel. Like he's just like a weird like crazy guy that's just like super awkward, and you could he doesn't have a lot of friends because he's just like working on his technology and like working with the Empire in some office somewhere. And so like
Yeah.
he's just weird. Like I didn't believe he was actually going to try and kidnap Princess Leia because
No.
he would not be competent enough to do that. Um, but then Han is like, but there could be people on this ship that are competent and know that she's here, and they snuck on or they got on. They could kidnap. So Han's kind of paranoid. Leia's just talking politics with all the politicians on board and all the rich people and trying to like
Yeah.
do whatever. Um, and long story short, Leia convinces the ship captain to take a detour to Madurs, the ice planet. Um, and they get there,
Wait, which
blah, blah,
leads to a
blah.
big fight with Han, right? Like this is where we start to see why
Well, they had a lot of
perhaps.
fights
Yeah,
at
like
many points.
you start to see like why perhaps maybe their relationship is not built on the strongest foundations because like they clearly have never had to exist together in an environment that is not like war. Like all of a
Also, their
sudden,
relationship is only like 2 weeks old, also, and they're already
yeah,
getting married.
yeah, and they're
So,
like living together in the same room and like dealing with each other's like habits and hygiene approaches and all of that. And Han, like again, they know each other, but I don't think Han has ever been exposed to like this different side of Leia, like the politician, the like wealthy elite side. Like I assume that
right,
even for somebody who came from like not a smuggler, like street urchin background, would be pretty like surprised by the sort of ultra rich elite lifestyle that Leia was used to before the rebellion. Like, so yeah, I actually I liked those culture shock moments, and I would have liked to see more of them because I think I don't know they again helped us to show us why this relationship did not end up working long term.
right. And it's like their their love for each other is clearly
Yeah,
portrayed in the book, but it's also like they have their own opinions on how lives should be lived. And so it's like even
yeah.
like they're on their way to the Millennium Falcon to like go to the Star Cruiser, and like they're in love, blah blah blah, and then like Han says a comment, and then they start fighting, and it's like, oh, this is our first fight. Like to kind of like then they ask, joking it off later, and Han makes her laugh, and then everything's good, and it happens multiple times. But and we'll get for as we go on, I'll get into like why, like what makes them work as a couple and what doesn't work. My analysis of being a relationship coach kind of a person. I
Yes.
don't know. But yeah, so they get to this planet, cool snow planet, very culturally like whatever. They have like these, I don't know, I picture them like kind of like reindeer, but they're Pruses or whatever. Like they're just kind of like
Oh,
they're like
yeah.
deer thing that like pulls sleighs type of thing. They also have like a big like fishing culture. Like that's like their main source of food is like fishing and ice fishing and all this stuff and
Was it
whatever. And
giving
so,
you like Water Tribe vibes, Northern Water Tribe?
oh yeah, definitely. Yep.
Yeah,
So if there were force
same.
sensitive people, they could water bend, but we didn't see that.
No.
Um, so long story short, they're getting kind of like brought to the ice palaces, and they look off into the distance, and there's like another like section where there was like a bunch of ice palaces that were destroyed. And I'm like, well, what's that over there? And kind of like the lady that was driving them over to the city was like, that's the old city. We don't really talk about it. She don't want to say much. And then like they both notice there's something like in the rubble, like behind it, like a big like black tower type of thing that's kind of hidden,
Yeah.
hard to see. And they're like, what's that? Like that doesn't seem like that's natural to this planet. And they didn't really like. She's like, we don't want to talk about it. Like she didn't like, want to answer. Blah blah blah. So then like the rest of the book is like them trying to investigate and understand like what's going on this planet. There's something clearly going on. Like, what is that black thing out there? They try to like, can we go see it? And they're like, no, we can't do that. Let's go over here and try some ice skating or whatever it was. And so they have like their ice skates are like laser blades or something like that, which is kind of funny. Little mini lightsabers on the bottom. These things are cutting like lines in the ice, which is kind of weird. Um, and so whatever. Eventually, like, so the prime minister
Wait, yeah, wait, or keep going. Oh, yeah. I'll say it after you talk about
telling me to
Jens.
pause. But the leader of the planet is Prime Minister Jens, and so it's like he's kind of like their main tour guy. Like he's kind of seems like he's there to like watch them to make sure they're not like looking where they're not supposed to be looking. But like
Mm-mm.
I do feel like he's also sincere. Like he cares about what's going
Yeah.
on in his planet and stuff. But like he slowly but surely kind of gives them hints and lets them do things. So like I can't say anything, but maybe if you kind of like walk over there a little bit, you could see some kind of like that mentality. Um, at one point, they see like surveillance like cameras, and like, oh, we're being watched by somebody right now.
Yeah.
Um, and so, long story short, it's the Empire. they
Oh,
came
I'm surprised.
they came to this planet, and it's like, oh, that's like a space station or whatever that they brought to the planet, and it crashed into the city. And like, that's weird. And so then it's like jammed in the ice, and they like go and investigate. Like at some point, like they go and like put on like diving equipment, and it's like Han and
Yeah.
Leia are just like, and it implies that they swam like 10 miles underwater to see this thing. I'm like,
Also, at some point, she's like, I hadn't eaten a meal today. And I was like, what? We're like out swimming in the sub zero water without bathing suits and we haven't eaten. Like, I'm concerned about their health and well being. They kept talking about those heat pads, but I was like, that
yeah,
certainly cannot have been the right equipment.
right, because they were using it wasn't like real scuba gear. It was like people if they're like lost in space, like they get like yeeted out to the airlock, but it's like enough to like protect them for like a couple hours or
Yeah.
something in space. Like it's supposed to keep them warm in that environment, but not like in water. So they're kind of like makeshift scuba gear.
Yeah.
Uh, and then they go and they look and they find that this thing is like deep underwater. This black tower goes deep underwater, and then they're like, it's shooting because there's like quakes happening when they're up before they discover like these like earthquakes, and it's like the ice is breaking and shattering and whatnot. And it's this tower we find out is a giant laser drill, and it's
Hmm.
drilling into the core of the planet to harvest or mine the carnium fuel source, and that's why the Empire was there in the first place. And uh, Han and Leia are like, all right, this is a problem. We need to uh, get these Imperials out of here. We need help. We need to address this, blah, blah, blah. And all this stuff. And so then once they figure out what's happening, like what this is, that's when like the book starts to get really good because then they're like, there's action, there's like plans, and they're addressing things. And one part of the story that was underutilized was this Imperial officer, Alessia Beck.
Yeah. Was that from a comic? Like that feels like we are missing something. I don't it
There's
must have been from
something
some other content we haven't consumed
right
because I didn't remember her either.
because Alessia Beck is this Imperial officer who has one eye, and apparently she has a history with Han. Like Han is like, oh yeah, I know her, and like we got in a tussle back in the day, and Alessia Beck hates Han Solo because I supplied that like because of that confrontation, she lost her eyeball, and so she has a
I'm
cybernetic
gonna look
eye,
it up.
and so what happens is like Han and Leia go talk to Prime Minister Jens, and they like we figured it out. Like this is the Empire, and he tells everything that happens. And then she walks out. Ha 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 ha! I'm here. Blah blah blah. Like it's kind of like this cliche like enemy reveal. Like here I
Yeah.
am. Like you can't escape me now, type of thing. And then there's a firefight, and they're like Han and Leia get separated, and they get like trying to figure out how to escape, and they're like this underground, like it's kind of like an underground, underwater like docking bay, like so like the fishermen can like go underwater. It's like there's already underwater, but it's like a I don't know, like a fishbowl underwater. It's like I don't know how to explain it, and so it's
I,
like
yeah. I don't either.
so but I think it's protected by like an energy ray. That's like so it's like an energy field holding the water back. And it's kind of like a docking bay, so they can like jump down into the water and then like use their subs and whatnot. So whatever they're trying to Beck this last year Beck is trying to kill them both. Han and Leia get back together and they're like get into a sub, but then it's like damaged and so they escape. But then it's like the water on the sub is about to go through cracks and they're trapped underwater. But then there's like the ice above them and the ice is too thick to break through it anyway. So what did you find, Grace? I see you
Oh, like
posted.
nothing really. She's referenced in a bunch of stuff that I don't like. Smugglers Run animated comic. I'm not familiar with that. I just sent it in case people want to read her wiki,
Right. Um,
which is
and
in multiple
so,
languages in case anyone wanted it.
ooh,
I
exciting.
know.
Um, so then they're trapped underwater. The glass is about to break, and it ends up breaking, and they're trapped underwater. And this is where Leia was like a moment where she's like, because she's like, I wish I could use the force. Like, I could break through this ice if I
Yeah,
use it. Like, Luke could break through this, and Han and Leia are trapped under the ice, and they're about to die, and so like they embrace each other, trapped under ice. And I think they
they
might be
kiss.
kiss
Like
underwater.
it's confusing, but
This
whatever.
is it. We're dead. Um, and at this point, they already called help from like the Halcyon ship, which is in orbit,
Yeah,
like one of the engineers or whatever, and he had like these like flare gun things, and he tracked them with their because they were wearing like the Halcyon like spacesuits. So it's like, oh, there's
yeah,
trackers on all these. I just found that you're not where you said you were, so I followed you. I realized you're trapped underwater.
yeah.
Perfect timing. Very, very like
The Force.
it must have been the
It was
Force
the Force.
because like this had to happen to be at the right time at right spot, right time. So he uses
Yeah.
these flare things to break through the ice to get rescued. Um, and Leia was like, if Luke was in this situation, he would be able to break through the ice no problem. And this was kind of like her first like aha moment of like, I probably need to learn how to use the Force.
Hmm.
Um, so they escape, and they escape to the cliffs where there's like housing or kind of like cave housing cliff thing. And what they learn is that these cliff dwellers are kind of like the rebellion on the planet. Like they've been leading up before the fall of the Empire, they were already trying to fight and hassle the Empire while they were on the planet. And so they were like, all right, let's come up with a plan.
Mm-hmm.
This is what we're gonna do, and let's
Mm-hmm.
just figure this out. And so they're all fish. They're basically all fishermen. So they just use all their like little sub and like swimming machines, and they go. They figure out that there's repulsor lifts underwater holding the ship in place. And like, oh, all
Hmm.
we gotta do is just destroy all of the repulsor lifts, and then it will sink the ship, and then we're good to go.
Hmm.
Yeah, that's their plan. And so they go. They all attack underwater. This would be a cool like thing, like a scene to watch, like underwater Star Wars. We see
Yeah.
that like in once in Clone
Yeah.
Wars. That
Yeah. That was a good like little segment of Clone Wars.
season 4, I think it was like maybe the
Yeah.
first like arc in season 4, like the Mon Calamari fighting that
And
shark
it's one of
guy.
the few where you have well it's one of the few where you have Padme and Anakin and
Yeah,
Ahsoka like all together, right? Because Padme's
yeah,
there.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And then the Gungans come and rescue the day.
Yes.
I was waiting for the Gungans to show up and like
Is Kit
attack the.
Fisto there?
Maybe
God.
yes,
I
yes.
really
Kit
need to
Fisto is there.
rewatch Clone Wars. It's been too long.
Yeah, Clone Wars. Yeah, season 4. That's the Mon Calamari arc. But I was kind of just thinking like, well, are the Gungans going to show up and save the day like they did in Clone Wars? Um, it it would have been kind of funny. uh, Jar Jar Binks is there because like
No.
no, okay. Um, so while all this time, like they're attacking the thing, but they can like the Empire can deploy their own droids and Imperial scuba team, basically, and those are people are getting killed. They're trying to like destroy the repulsor lifts, but these droids come out and they're able to fix them fast enough to like where
Hmm.
it's not helping, and it's like to the point where there's one repulsor lift left, and all these people got killed, and they can't get to it because there's so much chaos going on, and Leia realizes they're hopeless right at this moment, and so she like reaches out into the darkness, like she just asks for help. And
Yeah.
so earlier in the book, like we learn about all these different sea creatures, and there's these giant sea creatures that we like get to describe it from the distance. Like you just kind of like see them as shadows in the distance. They're called EDOTs, and one of those EDOTs comes and attacks the repulsor lift, the tower, and destroys the last repulsor lift, and that causes the drill to fall apart and sink everything.
Yay. It's
So
kind of like, I don't know, Ezra calling the Purgles.
Purgles, or from the first Avatar movie when
Oh.
they when they
I've never
call
watched the first Avatar movie.
really
Yeah, I've only watched the second one.
The Way of Water. Why didn't you watch the first one?
I don't know. And I didn't watch the third one either. I just watched the
Oh,
second one.
that's that's crazy. You should watch the first one because like
Yeah.
they're all losing, and
Oh, somebody else joined.
who joined?
I don't know.
Pi showed up. Hi Pi, how's it going? But in that spoiler alert for that one, like their goddess or the god or whatever, the planet
Hmm.
god, they call to her to help, and then they sent all the animals start attacking the people. So it kind of reminded me of that a little bit. And that's basically it. And so then, like the top part of the tower, like it shoots up into space, like it's a shuttle, escape shuttle, and they're trying to escape. And the New Republic is there or is on their way. And cancel Grace again.
You guys can't be canceling me. That's not good for me. No. Take it back.
Don't worry, you always have a place here at Empire Radio, Grace. If you get canceled outside of Empire, this
Okay,
is a safe
I'm not
place
gonna.
for you.
We're not gonna jinx it. I'm not getting canceled.
But like, take it to Halcyon is up there trying to like stop this shuttle from escaping because it's like in the path of like the escape to hyperspace, and it's trying to block it, and it's super fast, so they can't tag it. And Han's like able to get up to the Halcyon, and he's like flying this ship and trying to stop them. And then the New Republic comes, and they are able to capture this shuttle. And like we don't even hear anything after that. Like I wanted to like talk to Alicia Beck and like what's going on, because like it's implied that she's getting orders from someone,
Yeah.
and they're like, "Who's these orders coming from? Like,
Yeah.
what's going on? Like, is this in that video game? Like, I can't remember because I remember like people were
Is
like
it in a
acting.
comic? Is it? Maybe this is just an area that they're like, there's a lot of room to play with. They'll just keep giving us books like this
Right.
for all eternity, and we'll probably read them because we're good soldiers. We
Yeah,
like giving our money to Disney.
Yeah, and so what we learned though is the planet has been so damaged by the drilling that it's eventually going to just collapse, and so all the people have to be evacuated. So Key Lad, who
Lad.
are like weasel of a guy, he was kind of arrested, but then it's like he's also an engineer, and like they needed help in the engineering room anyway. So it's like you're kind of going to work off your debt because you are stowaway anyway. So we'll just have you work. And so he's kind of like there, and because he's gravity manipulation, and he was working with tractor beam technology. He's like, oh, I can use this thing from this whatever, and this thing from that thing. We can put together, and it will hold the planet together temporarily, and then I can build a machine or whatever that will keep the whole entire What is going on? We're talking about Stranger Things now. She has not watched Stranger Things. I've been telling her for years to.
It's too scary. I've
It's
determined
not
officially I
scary.
can't watch it. You know what I
It's
did
not.
watch though is Sinners, the
No, I didn't
movie.
want. I
That was
didn't
pretty
want.
scary. I just skipped over the scary parts.
Where was
It's
I?
a good
Oh,
movie though.
Key
Yeah.
Lad. So he's like, yeah. So then we'll do this temporary fix, and then I'll develop technology to like completely fix the planet, like permanently. So here's something that's not stated in the book, but it's seems to imply something from another Star Wars video game, a
Mm.
terrible Star Wars video game, Star Wars Squadrons, which takes place in that year of after Endor, between and Battle Jakku type of thing, where you're just like a starfighter in the New Republic Navy or whatever, and you're going on missions, going after remnants of the Empire and stuff like that. And the big secret weapon that the New Republic creates is this ship that has a giant tractor beam on it that can like pull a star destroyer and drag it and like cause damage to it.
Okay.
So part of me thinks that this Key Lad guy was the person that the New Republic had
Mm.
developed this technology. It's not stated on Wikipedia. It's not referenced
Yeah.
anything. His name's not referenced. But I'm like, he was talking about tractor beam technology multiple times,
Yeah.
and the New Republic creates this giant tractor beam ship that can drag a star destroyer and like
Interesting.
damage it and like
Interesting.
capture it. And
I'm
so
kind of ready to lock in for more Key Lad. I thought he was fun.
really, your
Yeah,
team Key
kind of.
Lad.
I liked that he was so like goofy,
I
just
don't know.
bumbling.
He was just whatever to me.
Give me the Key
um,
Lad comic.
yeah. But anyway, here, so we kind of just end with, so then Han and Leia, they live happily ever after, basically, until they get divorced or break up or whatever. But it's implied that they're happy at the end of the book. Um,
How many
but
how
here,
many how many years of marriage do we think they have? Do we know? Is that something that's like confirmed in the Star Wars canon?
I'm pretty sure they had issues pretty quickly after. Because I think, I'm trying to think, in Star Wars Battlefront, we get some Han content, and he's already left, and he's like hanging out in some bar in some other planet, like not clean shaving and stuff. So I think pretty early on, but then I think but then they came back together. I think because then they had Kylo Ren, or sorry, Ben Solo, and I think when Ben Solo turned to the dark side, that's when their entire marriage
Yeah.
fell apart.
Okay.
And I think that was kind of stated in the movies too.
Yeah,
That
that
after,
is definitely stated in the
yeah.
movies.
So if it was teenage Kylo Ren, so they had a good
Yeah,
on and
like do
off
you,
for 15 years,
okay.
20
So it
years.
was not a like stable home, like raising the child together situation. That's what I was curious about.
Right.
That would give us some explanation for what went on there.
Right. But here's my I don't know, analyzing of the relationship.
Oh yes, let's get into it. I'm
So
ready.
they
I also want to engage with this.
so they're like arguing because they have like differences of like where they should go in a relationship, what they should do. Like Han's like super is like, let's just go with the flow, let's just be quiet, let's just like focus on each other. Like honestly, I felt like Han was the most like mature in the relationship for most of the book, of like wanting to like focus on relationship and like, I just want to be here for you. I just
Yes,
want to like I
I
just want us to
agree.
work on us. And Leia was like,
I
they
agree.
expressed of her like there was, after they talked about how after the Death Star 1 was destroyed, like she cut people out of her life
Yeah.
because she didn't want to like experience this loss, because she lost her entire family and her world. Like she didn't want to put energy into relationships because she didn't want to lose them, and she pushed people away. And now that they're married, it's hard for her to like fully embrace an individual,
Yeah.
especially as a romantic, like a
Yeah.
lover, whatever. And so
And
like
And just to pause there, like that makes a lot of sense to me. Like she probably lived her whole life as a princess, like never having the chance to be authentic around anyone except for her parents who were also like royals. Like
Right.
of course she like doesn't have friends, like normal friends, or understand how to have emotional relationships outside of her immediate family because nobody's ever been able to understand and relate to her, or like she couldn't let people understand and relate to her because she had this very specific role. So I was sympathetic to her situation, but I agree with you that she was acting crazy, and Han was definitely in the right for being like, "Can we just take a step back and have a honeymoon?"
Right. And so like, and she even like you see her go through the process of like realizing this about herself, of like pushing people away, and now she needs to like learn to embrace others. Um, so like because Han and Leia are so different, like that's where their conflict is. But once like the climax of the story happens, where they're like addressing the situation, like they are a good team. Like when they have a
Yeah,
common goal, they use both their strengths to move towards that goal and accomplish that goal, and they have each other's backs. They understand like each other's like strengths and weaknesses, and they know how to like bounce off each other. And like I think that's what maybe that's what was lost with in a relationship, why I ended up like failing, is because they could not help Ben,
yeah,
and so they didn't have a common goal of saving their son, and that drove them apart. And
yeah.
so
Oh wow.
um, I think that's also important in real life, that now I'm a single person who's whatever, like I don't know anything about relationships, but like if you have a common goal that you both can work towards, I think that is an important aspect of any, whether even if it's just friendship, like if you have like a very close friend, like you have like common goals where you can like work towards something together. But
Mm,
like especially in a marriage, have an end goal that you want to move towards that's
mm,
greater than the relationship itself,
mm.
I think is very meaningful and can keep the bond together. So
Yeah,
if you
yeah.
want more relationship advice, email us at empireradiofans at gmail.com, and I can give you relationship advice, even though I don't have a relationship. But I don't know. What do you think? Do you think the
Yeah.
goal aspect is what would make them work, what made them work in those
That's so
situations?
interesting, Jeremiah. Yeah, like it's definitely like again, it kind of goes to what I was saying earlier about why I think that the relationship was destined to fail because they'd only ever operated in those like high pressure goal oriented situations, and they could have had a goal of like having a house and like I don't know, like dealing with their expenses and learning to cook and picking up new hobbies and then like raising a child, but clearly like something broke down before they could even like get used to those sort of more like mundane goals in a relationship. And yeah, I think you're super right. That just meant that when it came time for there to be like an actual huge issue with somebody in their family, they were not up to the task.
Right. And it's funny you mentioned learn how to cook.
Yeah, that was
because
so
so
that was so funny.
so the thing that's going on while they're on their honeymoon, Han commissioned Chewie. All right, Chewie, you need to make this Millennium Falcon more livable, more homey. Like fix it up, clean it up, make it more like a home.
Yeah.
And
Oh my
we learned in the
gosh.
last chapter, one of the things that Han had Chewie do is to put a kitchen in the Millennium
Yeah.
Falcon for Leia.
He's like, "Oh, sweetie, I built you a kitchen. I thought you'd want to spend time in there." And I was like, "Oh my gosh, I'm divorcing this man immediately."
And then like she just starts laughing at him and like saying, "This is I've never cooked anything. I don't know how to cook." Blah blah blah. And it's like she didn't like press like the whole like sexism thing, but
Yeah,
like, but like,
that was
because like,
insane.
because like from our perspective, we see that as like a cliche, like cultural thing of like a woman is in the kitchen. Now in
Yeah.
Star Wars, I kind of like to believe that like within the Star Wars canon universe, like there is predominantly gender equality. Like there's not like these stark gender roles. So it's like it's funny, just like for them, for Leia, like it was like it wasn't a sexist thing. It was a I'm a princess. I've never cooked anything in my life. I've been in
Yeah.
rebellion for the last X amount of years. I've never cooked anything in my life. Why would you think I know how to use a kitchen? And it was just funny of like her laughing, and then he's just like so embarrassed. And like, sorry, I thought this was something you would want. Like, I didn't know. And he's just like, I don't know. It was just super, super funny.
It
I
was
thought that
very
was
funny.
whatever.
Like, tell me your thought on this, Jeremiah. I literally never believe it when people say they can't cook. Like, that is also a cliche. Like, oh, I can't cook. I like can't even cook toast. Anyone can cook. It doesn't mean that you're like a master chef, but like food is not difficult to prepare. Like Leia definitely could cook if she just tried.
I don't know. I feel like in Star Wars, everything is prepackaged. Like
Okay,
there's
well, like
yes, there
assuming
are
that there is
chefs,
cooking in Star Wars.
but like I don't know. I think most people can do some very basic cooking, but you have to be taught it, or at least or observe people doing it to know like okay. But like actual like cooking, like I don't feel like most people like do a lot of actual cooking.
The Ewoks cook. Hmm.
They ate those stormtroopers pretty good. They know how to cook a stormtrooper.
Yeah.
But I don't know. For me, like how old am I? I'm 36. Like I've been like on my own for meals for since I was like 25. Like
Hmm.
so like I know how to cook basic things. Like I've learned how to bake now, and since COVID, like that was I started baking in COVID. Um, so like that's like a skill of cooking, cuisine type. What's the term for cooking? Like a larger generic culinary. My culinary skill is
Oh,
in
okay.
baking, but like if you ask me to cook like a piece of meat in a frying pan, I can't do that to save my life. I can cook like a burger patty,
Hmm.
but like if you want me to like cook like a pork chop or chicken breast or a steak in a pan, I cannot do that to
You
save
could.
my life.
You would like look it up online and you would do it.
No,
Like I
I've
know
tried
you
to do that
would.
before, and I fail at it. I can't do it, and it's like honestly, like this isn't a jab at you for being a vegetarian, but I feel like
Yeah.
cooking vegetarian stuff is easier than cooking
I feel
meat stuff.
so confident I could cook a steak. I've never done it in my life. I feel like I could do it. Like I maybe you're right. Maybe I'm
with
underestimating the
with the
level
with
of
the butter in the
difficulty.
pan and the thyme
Yeah.
springs, and then like how
I
they you've seen those videos of
I'm understanding. Yeah, I can visualize it. Like I think I could
is
pull this off.
is your boyfriend a vegetarian?
He's a vegetarian.
Okay, I was gonna say
Yeah.
like if he ate meat, then like you guys like live together, and then like you like whatever cook him a meat. So I guess
No,
you
he's
have
been
it
a vegetarian since birth, so he's even more vegetarian than I am.
even more. That's funny. Interesting. Has he ever eaten meat?
Mm-mm.
Never once. Interesting.
Never. Yeah. It's crazy, right? It's
That
pretty
is
cool.
crazy. But yes, cooking. It's a crazy thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Like
also,
oh, go
oh,
ahead.
go ahead. No, you go
No.
ahead. I've talked
Like
more than you tonight, so
no, it's okay. Like my brother claims that he can't cook. Like I know he'll never listen to this, so we can slander him a little bit. Like 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 not this last winter, like last winter time we were together as a family and he wanted to have pancakes like from a pancake mix and he was like, Grace, I need you to help me, like mom won't help me, like I don't know how to make this. And I'm like, it is a mix, like let's look at the directions. Like I don't know how to make pancakes from this mix either, but like it says, okay, we take some mix and we put some water and we put an egg and then we put it in the pan. He's like, how do I put it in the pan? I'm like, I don't know, we just pour it into the pan. Like again, this is not like the most beautiful pancake, but like when push comes to shove, I can produce an edible item of food, and I think Leia can, and I think my brother can too.
I cannot make a pancake to save my life.
Oh my god, Jeremiah, yes, no.
So
No,
I
yes,
don't
you
know.
can.
No, listen, I've tried, and it's like it's so weird because when I was a kid,
Yeah.
I could make the best pancakes. Like they were the most perfectly like golden brown, perfect pancakes. And now as an adult, like I can't get it to work. Like it turns into scrambled eggs. I don't know. I can't. So now I just do waffles. I just use a waffle iron. Makes life so much easier. Waffles are better than pancakes anyway.
Oh my gosh, that's so funny.
I also recently made baked French toast, which is
Oh
really
wow.
good.
Yeah,
Um,
that's yummy.
Definitely, if a lot easier than just regular French toast because you don't have to use a frying pan. You just put it all in a bowl
Okay.
and bake it. You cut up into chunks and then just mix it all together. But yeah, pancakes. I'm done. I'm never gonna try it ever again. Um,
Wow.
and people might not realize this, but cooking with an electric stovetop is completely different than cooking with a gas stovetop. Gas stove top is infinitely more superior than any kind of electric stove. And so it's like that's also a detriment to me to like I can't I'm hindered in my ability to cook in a frying pan because I have to use an electric stove in my apartment.
Hindered in my ability. I see. I see. Okay.
Would you
Okay.
agree that a gas stove is better than electric or no?
I'm not a cooking expert. Like I don't make distinctions. I can't tell. I've had both.
What is your signature dish? What's the best meal? Like if you were to cook a meal for me, what would be to impress me with a
Well,
vegetarian
the
meal?
the
What would it
deal
be?
the dish that all my friends like, that like Caitlin and Maria really like when they're coming over, the friends who sent the
Voicemail.
voicemails, is this like pasta, which they call my special pasta. It is literally the most like ridiculous thing ever. All I do is take impossible meat. Like I don't even put any oil in the pan. I like cook the impossible hamburger meat like in the pan, and then I add pre-canned tomato sauce, and then I add chopped up Kalamata olives, capers, and then salt, and then I put it over like rigatoni pasta. Um, and I have never received like so much hype for a dish that is literally so simple. Maria asked me the other day for the recipe, and I was like, "Ma'am, like there is no recipe. You just put it in the pan." So that's the one my friends like. But if I was gonna pick for you, I would do like I have a couple like soup like stew recipes that I think are I like better. I have this white bean and kale soup that I eat a lot for myself.
Interesting. And you use impossible meat?
Yeah, I love
Really?
impossible meat. Yeah,
Really? Isn't this
I
stuff
feel like
like poison? There's more chemicals in
no.
that than like a waste field,
I think
a
it has a
nuclear
lot
waste
of
field.
like saturated fat or something, but I'm not so worried about
I hear that
saturated
though
fat
that
at my
artificial
age.
meat is like the most unhealthy, toxic thing you can consume.
I don't
You should
think that's true.
you should
I
Google
think
it.
yeah, I think that's the propaganda of big beef
That's
talking to you.
big meat is
Yeah,
not.
big meat.
But I just can't. Growing meat in a lab is just not something that
Okay, that's
seems
growing meat in the lab
appetizing.
is different from impossible meat.
I
Impossible
know.
meat is
But
like whatever.
would you eat lab grown meat?
Yeah, everyone always asks me that. I have a good friend from college that works at a like lab grown fish company. Like they're doing like stem cell salmon.
Ugh,
I know, very cool. Um, Probably not because I don't crave the taste of meat, but I like wouldn't fault somebody for wanting to.
interesting.
Yeah.
Um, I think that's everything I have for this book. Any other thoughts on the Princess and the
I'm
Scoundrel?
like
Any
so
analysis?
derailed from talking about the book now. I can't
Well, we were
remember.
talking about their relationship and having and having goals to move
Yeah,
towards,
the
and that's what. But
relationship. Yeah. Mm.
um,
No, I don't
I don't
know.
know.
I would take some more. I would take some more Han and Leia relationship development content. Like I want to see how things progressed. I want to see more of the like cultural clash moments. I want to see them have an adventure with Chewie. Like, yeah, I'm ready. Give it to me. Right after you give me the Axel and Gela comic run.
Oh gosh. Now, so are there any other romance novels? Because we've done 3 romance novels. So, like next year for Valentine's Day, is there another romance novel?
I don't know. I think Star Wars does romance badly. That's my takeaway having reread this book. I just do not think they're good at romance.
Or maybe Star Wars is reflectant of our real world and how most people are not good at romance, and it's just a
This is
reflection of
not
ourselves.
reflected. As we established, most people date.
ahead of time, but how many people have failed relationships over and over again and
Well,
high
like
divorce rates? And
50%. Yeah.
so maybe you're disappointed in Star Wars romance because you're truly disappointed in romance in this real world.
Hmm.
To get
Interesting.
deep and philosophical.
I don't think that's what it is.
No, okay.
I just
All
need
right.
them to like deliver, go like they. Star Wars is scared of committing to romance. Oh, what is the? Well, let's see here. Yeah, yeah, I agree with you. It's plot centric and character centric. Like the main audience of Star Wars is not here for the romance, and that's why the romances are underdeveloped.
Right.
Yeah, let's end it there.
All right. So, what out of how can we rate this? Out of how many E dots out of 10 would you rate
5.
this book? 5. I'll give it a 6 just because it had a strong ending, but that
Okay.
those first 2/3 was not happy. I was not happy with, but
Yeah.
I felt like this. It's like because the story was so simple, like for like the climax, like the author was kind of forced to like write more, and so she
Yeah.
had to like make it longer and just dragged
Hmm.
on. But
Hmm.
I don't know.
There's by the way, I was just thinking. The Young Leia book is kind of like a romancy book, but not with Han.
Oh, she has a love interest.
Mm-hmm.
Oh dang,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
kind of like Rush Clovis for Padme,
Yeah.
which we
Yeah.
talked about last
Literally.
time when you were on. Um,
Oh.
all right, fun. Well,
Okay.
that being said, let's transition over to everyone's favorite time of every episode, voicemail time. It's voicemail time. So Will sent in. So before we started recording, we did not have any voicemails, and this is our streak has been going on for almost 5 years now of every week having a voicemail. Will sent in a 5-1 saying, "Hey," 5-second one saying, "Hey, the streak continues," and that was it. I'm like, so we're not going to play that because Grace.
Wait, we're not. We should play
Oh,
that.
okay, fine. It's 5 seconds. Number 1 from Will.
Hey, Private Dude. Will here. Save the streak. There you go.
That's it. I'm
Hero.
sorry, chat in the Discord. You can't hear the voicemails right now. Sorry. So you have to go listen later. But Grace, as awesome as she is, she texted 3 of her, or more than 3 of her friends, but 3 of her friends sent in voicemails. One from Kaylin, one from Maria, and one from Anonymous. Ooh,
Oh,
scary.
anonymous. Oh, well, that's
Do you know
funny.
who that Anonymous is?
Yeah, it's from my boyfriend.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, but the real like villain of this story is I texted both my parents and my brother, and they didn't even respond. So let's really shame them right now for letting me down in my hour of need.
Shame,
Yeah,
shame,
yeah.
shame.
Like,
Yep.
what are they doing? I don't know. I hope they've been eating dinner for this last 2 hours or something. Otherwise, there's no excuse.
Yep. But they're not going to listen to
Yeah.
this, so they're not going to feel ashamed at all. You can send them a clip of this, like send it to go to 118 in the thing, and it's we're shaming you.
What is probably going to happen is that my dad will send you like 5 for next week when I'm not here. So just wait.
Grace's dad, if you're listening, tell us some embarrassing stories of Grace when she was a child. Like that'd be super fun.
Exactly. A life
Do you have any
outside
like
the
pop into
paper.
mind of stories that you don't want him to tell?
Oh no. I don't know. I mean, yes, like my whole life.
Your whole life, oh whatever. All right, so
Yeah,
let's
okay.
listen to a voicemail from. No, I haven't listened to any of these, so hopefully these are all family friendly, not political or making anything whatever. But let's take a
I
listen
don't think
to
so.
Kaylin, number 1.
Hi, I'm a casual fan of the Star Wars universe, and one thing I've always wondered is what details are missing from the prequels regarding why the Jedi Council didn't want to make Anakin a Jedi Master, and what would you guys have added into the prequels to make that decision more clear? Were they truly justified in being wary? And what elements would you guys have added to like better demonstrate that?
Oh, thank you, Kaylin. That's actually a very good question.
Right? Wow,
Um,
Galen.
so what? So how? I think what kind of is established is that he's so like unpredictable.
Hmm.
So it's like he hasn't matured into what it means to be their understanding of a Jedi because he's just so unpredictable, does whatever he wants. He can't be relied upon to make a wise decision for the group. He does this kind of like in the moment. This is what needs to be done in the moment.
Hmm.
I think that's kind of like what's mostly established, and I think that's probably the main reason.
Yeah.
Also, he's super young. He's by episode 3, he's 22 years old. Like,
Hmm.
and most of the people on that, sure, Obi-Wan, he's what, 40 or something,
35. Yeah.
35, 40 or whatever. So like he's still pretty young, but like you got people on that council are centuries old. Yoda's, almost 900 years old when he's in the prequels. Like, so I think he's just young
Yeah.
and he's unpredictable.
I know that it's funny. Red Buff was just saying earlier in the chat when we were messaging back and forth that he's read all of the prequel novelizations, and apparently he was like specifically saying that scene about what like when they decide not to make Anakin a master is more spelled out in the novelization. So there might be some tidbit there that we're missing. I haven't read the novelizations.
Yeah, and there's one episode that Andrew is on, and he said something like in the Revenge of the Sith novelization, they go into like Anakin's like why he's so upset because if you become a Jedi Master, you have access to new content in the
Yeah,
Jedi archives.
exactly.
And there was something in those archives that he wanted to
Like he
know or
thought that
learn
he might
about,
be able to find information to save Padme. Yeah, I've
something
definitely
like
seen
that.
that. I think that's in a comic too.
So like maybe there's this because there's even the scene. Like, is it the opera scene where he's like, "I know there's things about the Force they're not telling me."
Yeah,
Or
exactly.
he says it to Padme. Actually, maybe he says it to Padme.
Yeah, I don't remember.
So like, there's this thing where like they do know that Anakin has a lust for power, and so that's a liability. So they don't want to give him access to that knowledge before he's mature enough to handle that knowledge.
Yeah. And do you think it's also just part of this like it's indicative of the larger failing of the Jedi Order? Like Anakin probably had earned the rank of master over the course of the Clone Wars and he'd had a Padawan, but like they're so caught in their ways and their bureaucracy and like they're just like too blind to see the larger picture and to give him the rank and like figure out a way to have him be a master and just kind of like make it work.
I don't know. I feel like I'm on the side of the Jedi Council that he shouldn't be labeled as because like he wasn't even supposed to become an official Jedi Knight when he did. Because like, did you read Rise of the Red Blade?
I did, yeah.
So like in there, like it mentions like after the Battle of Geonosis, like all these Jedi Masters were killed, and there was a shortage of these Jedi Masters, and so then because so many Jedi died, like there was like so many Padawans were kind of accelerated to become a Jedi Knight because they needed more leaders.
No.
In
What
the
was
Clone
that
Wars.
called? There's like some word for it, like the protocols or something. Where they like advanced people. It doesn't really matter.
Well, there's like the Jedi trials. Like you're supposed to do that first, and that becomes like
that's not what I'm thinking.
No.
It doesn't
but
matter.
like I remember in that like all these Padawans were just knighted because they needed generals in the war.
Yeah.
And so like, and then you see Anakin get knighted, and it's like, yeah, the Battle of Geonosis would have been like maybe his Jedi trial type thing, like something like a test that like, okay, you passed this, so we're gonna make you think. But like, without the Battle of Geonosis, he was never going to be at that point appointed a Jedi Knight. So it's like even though he was considered one of the best Jedi at the time, he wasn't. Things were accelerated for him.
Yeah, interesting.
Ahead of schedule.
Interesting.
And also, it's just they're in the middle of a war, and they can't really be making proper decisions about like ranking up people. Like, we got a war. We're in the middle of a war. Don't worry about your status as a Jedi right at this moment. Like, the Jedi archives are the least of your worries right now. The Republic is falling. But yeah.
It's this is not I think we answered that question. Great job, us. I wish we had more details, Caitlin. Like I too would like to know what they were thinking. But something Caitlin asked me the other day, which I think I could use your expertise on, Jeremiah, is whether or not, and I mean, I think the answer is yes, but like I still want your expertise, whether or not the move where you like turn the lightsaber off and then turn it back on in order to like stab someone is canon. And I was like, yes, I think it's canon because like Kylo and Rey use that in the throne room scene where they're fighting the Red Guards. But then I was like, I'm sure there are other canon examples of when that's used, and I couldn't think of any. And then I didn't like go Google it later, and I was curious if you could think of any other ones.
I can't remember off the bat like turning it off. I see like in fan films, like a lot of that because it's a cool thing. But like it is a thing that like
I'm sure Anakin did that. Like that seems very Anakin-y.
But it's like I think I don't think it's a canon thing. It might be an EU thing where
no, it's canon because Kylo and Rey do it. We went and watched the scene.
No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying like it's canon that the Jedi did not allow Jedi to do that move.
Oh,
so the Jedi were taught.
I see.
I know, but I'm saying in Star Wars, you might not going to see it because the Jedi taught specifically not to do that.
Oh, really? Why?
Because it's unethical type of thing. Oh. Like it's a cheat.
It's a trick.
Which it's just like whatever.
Yes.
Like
yes. Also the pie in the chat in the Kenobi series. I totally yes. Like Obi-Wan does this.
When? What was?
I don't know. Either in the Kenobi series or in the Clone Wars. That's really ringing a bell.
I can't remember off the top of my head. But right, so because I did the thing I always like got frustrated like doing like duels and Clone Wars or whatever. Like, just turn off your saber and then stab him. Like you could win. Like, but then it's also a cheat. So it's just like it's also like less entertaining too.
Yeah.
Like, it's whatever. But
I hadn't. I still think that.
I still think that there should be more like stylization of people like turning on and off their lightsaber to do tricks and to do stuff to like make it more interesting. But then I think from a choreography standpoint, like it's just kind of like it's just trying to look cool rather than have a good story in the fight.
Yeah. Okay. Good answer.
Do you think Kaylin would ever want to be interviewed on the podcast?
Is it potentially? Yeah.
Is that something that she would be into? Like have her on?
Maybe. Like casual Star Wars fan acceptable?
Well, if she's seen all 9 movies, that's our minimum requirement. You have to see 9 movies.
She has certainly seen all 9 movies.
Or plus Rogue One. Han Solo, if you haven't watched that, that's fine because I think
we've watched Rogue One together like twice. Yeah.
Did she watch the shows too? Much of all the shows?
No,
or
we were literally just talking about how she needs to watch Clone Wars. So, Caitlin, if you listen to this, you should watch Clone Wars.
Oh, dang. Okay, we'll talk after. Maybe I can get her contact information. All right. Thank you, Kaylin. We appreciate you helping out with our voicemails. And you had a very intriguing question. And I think that the more Star Wars content you consume, the more questions you'll have that are just as good as that one. So if you ever have any more questions for us on the podcast, we'd love to hear from you because that's a very compelling question. I think you could have a lot more to challenge us. Try and stump us. That was almost that
was tough.
That was a tough question. So just think of the power that she would have if she consumed all of Star Wars. Like she could just destroy Drew and I and you and stuff. But next up, we have a voicemail from Maria. So let's take a listen. This was a very short one also. So let's take a listen.
How has your involvement in the Star Wars community or any other fandom community benefited you in unexpected ways?
Oh, dang. Well, I've made friends through the podcast here. And so like one, we never have met Grace. Like Grace has become a good friend. And everyone on the podcast loves her. Everyone listening loves her. Like she's just been a great blessing to us. But just other friends in the Discord, like, Will and Uretzi and, Lucy and Reed and all these friends, Red Buff, like all these people that like I've been in contact with for years now and built friendships, and this, you just feel part of something bigger. And it's just because of Star Wars, I've made friends, and I'm now considered an international influencer because of the podcast. So
Holy moly,
I always
Jeremiah.
I always say stuff like that just to like make me look cooler than I really am.
As you should, absolutely.
And you too. You are an international known influencer too, Grace. People around the world.
I'm a guest international influencer. You keep the crown.
I will.
Okay.
But Grace, how would you say your connection to Star Wars community? And you did like some Marvel cosplay too, like stuff like Marvel stuff.
Yeah.
Do you feel connected to the greater community or no?
Yeah, I like related to Jeremiah's, like obviously I echo yours, and I'll add to it by saying I like how Star Wars lets me connect to people that I might not be able to connect to about things otherwise. Like I'm thinking of two awkward men I know from law school who like I've had to work with on things. And like we just wouldn't have really talked. We would have like done our work and not had anything in common. But because of our like shared interest in Star Wars, we can kind of like nerd out. And when I see them in the hallway, I can be like, "Oh, did you watch the Mall trailer?" And he'll be like, "Ah, don't talk to me." And then he'll answer. So I've appreciated it for that. Like it's come up in the most random places at school, in job interviews, like with strangers I met on airplanes. Like it's so universally loved, and it's cool to be a part of that.
Didn't you put us on like your resume or something, like podcasting? Like, is it on your resume or is it just for like one specific?
It's on my resume, yeah. So it comes like people ask me about it a lot in the interview.
Like what is it stated at? Like how do you have it stated?
I think I just say like guest on a Star Wars podcast.
But like what category is it, like under like
interests, like at the very bottom, yeah.
And
people love that though. I mean, I think so.
So do you think you've gotten gigs because of of you being a guest host on a Star Wars? Like, was it like, they're looking at your resume like, she's okay. Star Wars podcast? Oh, we got to bring her in for an interview. And then you got the job or what?
I mean, because it comes up in the interview. And like often then I'm like talking to this like lawyer or something about like our shared interest in Star Wars. Again, usually men. I think it's helpful with like older men as well. In the least weird way. Like there are certain generations that like Star Wars, and I don't love sports, and so I can't necessarily bond over that with them in the interview. So we default to Star Wars, which is fun. Jeremiah's like, what?
That's kind of it's whatever, but it's kind of funny. So all right. Well, I think that answers Maria's question. So thank you, Maria, for your question. And lastly, from Grace's boyfriend, what is his name?
Nikhil.
Nikhil?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So let's take a listen to his.
Hey, all. I had a few questions that I thought might be fun. The first is, at what moment did Obi-Wan realize he was basically co-parenting a disaster? And then on a more serious note, was Palpatine's rise, do you think, more dependent on the corporate capture via the Trade Federation or on like constitutional loopholes within the Galactic Senate? Thank you.
I think. What? Sorry. What? How do you say his name? What?
Nikhil.
Nikhil. So, all right. Thank you for the voicemail. First question: when did Obi-Wan realize he was co-parenting a disaster? That's a funny. Probably we gotta go. I don't know when this would be, but like at some point, the first time he has to say, "Anakin, no," that's when he realized. Which is probably like in, what was it, like a book? Is it brotherhood or something.
Wait. Is co-parenting a disaster a reference to Ahsoka or to Anakin? Like,
It would be Anakin because
but who is he co-parenting with?
oh,
I think it's Ahsoka.
co-parenting with a disaster, implying that like, Obi-Wan and Anakin are co-parenting someone.
Ahsoka.
Oh,
We can interpret the question differently.
Oh, that's
we can answer it
interesting.
your way.
well, I initially thought it was like when did he realize
Yeah.
like he was Obi-Wan was a parent of Anakin, like co-parenting with like the Jedi co-parenting
Oh.
type of thing. So I think whatever the first time was that Obi-Wan was like, Anakin, no, which was probably in like the book Brotherhood, which I haven't read. The Brotherhood is
Yeah.
like him and Anakin as like
Yeah.
Anakin was the younger Padawan. Probably something like that. Just the shenanigans of Anakin was like, not again type of thing. How about you? Where do you think that took place? Or what is your interpretation of the question, and how would you answer it?
I mean, I think it's about like Ahsoka, since you already answered for Anakin, and I don't have anything to add on that. I also don't have a great answer for Ahsoka though. Like probably immediately, like as soon as Anakin was like, "I don't want a Padawan," and Obi-Wan's like, "No, you have to have one." And then they were doing all their missions together, and Anakin didn't know how to have a Padawan. Like probably then.
Right. Interesting. And what was this other question about Palpatine?
I don't know.
Do we need to listen to it again? We need to listen to it. I'm gonna play it. I'm gonna turn it down.
I don't think it didn't really make sense. Is the gist of the matter?
So wait, so because he hasn't watched Star Wars, right?
No, he's watched Star Wars. He has only watched 6 of the 9, though.
Okay, but none of the shows or anything.
No.
Okay, so we're gonna play the voicemail again, and we'll see if we can get more information from his question.
Hey all, I had a few questions that I thought might be fun. The first is, at what moment did Obi-Wan realize he was basically co-parenting a disaster? And then on a more serious note, was Palpatine's rise, do you think, more dependent on the corporate capture via the Trade Federation or on like constitutional loopholes within the Galactic Senate? Thank you.
So it's basically what was the key to him rising to power? Was it him taking over the Trade Federation?
Yes, and then the Trade Federation like taking over everything, or was it him like invoking these like ways to get more executive power and therefore to take over the? That's interesting. Okay.
I would say Palpatine is one of the greatest villains in writing, like because of what he accomplished and how he did it. Like he played both sides. He created an army that he then used to kill his enemies. He blamed his enemies for creating the war when it was him. The Trade Federation was his deal. He used Dooku as the face of the Trade Federation, like the whole separatist and Trade Federation stuff and all that. Like he deflected, attention onto someone else. So I think it's not an either or. I think it's like he just was amazing at both sides. And I feel like he's underappreciated as a villain because I think his writing as a villain is as superior as it gets.
Yeah.
And there's one of my favorite like scenes from Clone Wars, and every time like how on YouTube like a previously watched video will pop up from like you watch it like a long time ago and it pops up. Like I have one that pops up in my algorithm from the Clone Wars when he's talking to Masamita after like Padme got the Senate to vote down something that Palpatine wanted, and like Masamita like in the office by themselves, and he's like, "What are we gonna do about this?" And he's like, Palpatine's like, it's amazing how the words of a single senator can sway the thoughts of millions. And it's like, for now, we must adhere to the principles of our democracy. We must let the wheels of the Senate turn. I think that's such a good line. And he just like, all right, my plan didn't work, but we just got to let it play out. And then I'm going to figure it out again. And he does. Like, he just, I don't know.
Yeah. That's so interesting. I think you're exactly right. He like uses the thing with the Trade Federation to create the larger circumstances that then make it possible for him to like legally from his position at the top of the government consolidate power and like take over everything. It's very like, yeah,
And it
if
was
you
all
think about it.
dependent on Jar Jar Binks getting the Senate to vote him into
Yeah,
DC
no,
powers.
literally, yeah.
It's like,
And
oh
again,
man,
legal.
I have
like,
this whole giant plan, but if this goofy senator doesn't get people to vote for me or vote for the policy, like, then I fail. But like, there's a line in Tales of the Jedi when that third episode when Dooku confronts Palpatine after Qui-Gon is killed and Yaddle is like sneaking in, and Dooku confronts Palpatine like, "You allowed Maul to kill Qui-Gon. Like, this is not what I wanted or whatever." And
yeah,
something like Palpatine says, "You lost an apprentice and so did I, all in the name of our common goals," or something like that. He said, like,
yeah,
he's like, I don't have like in the moment, this is what has to happen. I have end goals, and it's all
yeah,
moving towards the end goal. And he knows how to make the progress towards the end goal,
yeah,
not necessarily individual wins right at the moment. It's like, I might have lost a battle, but the war hasn't been lost yet.
yeah. And that's why he's so sinister, like, because he's not just like coming in guns blazing. He's doing all
Right.
of these whatever machinations behind the scenes.
And it's amazing.
Curious about Palpatine's educational profile. Where did he cultivate these skills?
He went to the University of Naboo. First,
highly ranked.
First, he went to a community college on Naboo to get some credits cheaper,
No.
and then he transferred to University of Alderaan or something and got his undergrad, and then he went to Coruscant,
for a master's,
and then went to
law
Scoundrel for his
degree.
PhD or something.
Oh, okay.
Political science, PhD in political science.
Okay.
All while training as a Sith. Like, he was able to balance work and play very well.
I like that. And I like that he was so varied. He really was an equal opportunity, like, education,
Yeah. And your boyfriend, what is his, like, profession or, like, degree, like, education?
He's a computer engineer.
Okay, I was like, is his question based on, like, a political science background or something?
He was trying to make a law question clearly for me, but
oh, okay.
it was too difficult.
All right. Well, I think that's all we have. So thank you to everyone who took Grace's mass texting out to everybody and got the call. I don't think I got any more since then. We just refreshed my emails to see if.
No, it was just one other friend and then my parents. So.
Okay. Fun.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's everything. We've announced on the podcast that we're taking March off. So we just have 2 more Wednesdays, and we were hoping we were going to get a trailer for Mandalorian Grogu from the Super Bowl, but we just got that stupid commercial. Did you see that stupid?
I did.
We thought there was going to be a trailer that would come up because in a little over 2 months is when the movie comes, or 3 months the movie comes out. So, like, we thought we'd get a trailer, and I'm guessing a trailer is going to come out when we're off. So that's unfortunate, but maybe we'll sneak one in. I don't know, but we don't know what we're going to do for the next 2 weeks, but we'll come up with something. But until then, if you are new to the podcast, go in the description below, click the links.co/Empire Radio, links below 2 eyes landing page for everything Empire Radio. So follow us on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch. When Drew's on, we do live streams on Twitch rather than doing live streams in Discord. So go follow us on Twitch. There is a fan email if you need to email us about anything. Like I said, if you need some relationship advice, you can email me. I'll give you some advice. And join the Discord too. If you want to hang out with some other nerdy Star Wars fans and talk Star Wars. And, the Mall show is coming up in less than 2 months. So if you want to talk about the new Mall show, join the Discord and we'll have a channel in there for discussion of that show. I think that's everything. Anything else, Grace?
Nothing on my end.
All right. Well, you've been listening to another Valentine's Day-tastic episode of Empire Radio. I'm Jeremiah.
And I'm Grace.
And may the Force be with you.
Always.